for people to pick up. So how are y'all's weekends?
I don't feel that accomplished like you do. It was just a nice, long, relaxing weekend. We were up at the lake and Lenny was swimming and just having fun.
Did you drink any beer?
I did.
What kind of beer did you drink?
Beer of all kinds.
Okay.
I drank BMC. I drank some
BMC.
Trulies and some White Claws.
Yeah.
Even helped out the spirits peoples with some canned cocktails.
I knew you'd be like that.
Little wine at night.
There was at least one lie in there. There's got to be some lies in there, Jordan.
Some wine at night. What? You know what? Why don't you just go work for Sarah? Okay.
Join the cork sniffers.
Traitor, cork sniffer. What did you do, Jennifer?
Harold. We swam a bunch. And you know what? So I was telling Jordan, we've started playing pickleball with the kids too, because we've got some courts right by the house. So you can imagine how much fun it is trying to teach a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old who are impatient like their mom how to play pickleball. It's been a lot of fun, but there's been some tears too. And yesterday, she just got so mad. She hit Bill with her paddle. So he threw it over the fence. Like, he's got an arm. And I was like, oh man, I was like waiting for a car to just run right over it afterward, like in the movies.
So there were tears. Why was Bill crying?
Nice one. No, Bella was crying. It's just, it's frustrating when you start something new and kids, and, it was hot. And
ping pong is the worst thing to try and teach a child. It is the most annoying thing. We had a ping pong table and they would just, come on, Dad, let's go play ping pong. I'm like, oh my, the rally, if you got 2, that was a good rally. And then the ball would go flying off and it would end up under a couch. And, it's just awful.
Was this at the ranch?
Yes.
The ranch that we're going to hunt arrowheads. I'm going to bring this up on every podcast.
No, you should. We are there. I think, if I'm not, I think tomorrow's their last day. This July we'll do it. And I noticed that Bill he was busy upgrading everybody over the weekend.
Yeah. I had to friggin' take care of the kids while he did that. I was like, Happy Memorial Day, motherfucker. Just kidding. You should bleep that. But no, it's funny. So he has not had a buy on Constellation and Boston for like the last 3 years. And so I was like, oh, good. Like, now I don't have to have any resentment from them. Like, but no, I mean, he basically thinks that Bud Light or that like Modelo and Corona are going to get some Bud Light jump balls, and that Truly is too, which I find the former a little bit easier to believe than Truly. We'll see. I guess it depends on how deeply they discount. I've heard a lot of buy one, get ones over the weekend, but we'll see.
Yeah. I was just tired of writing that Bud Light is just getting worse and worse. And so I kind of just leaned into the whole thing of, hey, they're not losing share anymore.
Yeah.
Or as much share. They're still losing share. Just their share losses haven't increased. So, but it's still just terrible. It's just bad. I went on my one wheel this morning and there was a Silver Eagle driver delivering beer at the Smokehouse barbecue down the street, Smoke Shack.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled up and I was like, I didn't want him to think I was like gonna make fun of him, like, oh, you're gay, or something stupid like that. But I just like, hey man, how the sales going? And he was just like, oh God, he was a keg driver. He was like, we haven't sold any beer, man. It's terrible. And I was like, I'm sorry. And then I just went on. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like this in our careers. I've never seen it before, and I don't think ever again. They drew the short straw. I mean, Bud Light has become the face of this kind of anti-trans movement, if you want to call it that. And, Target's taken a hit, but the thing is that there are not a lot of substitutes for Target. It's not easy to replace Target. What are you going to go to Walmart?
No, I think they did draw the short straw. But at the same time, if you would have done a list of people that were going to speak up for the trans community and had brands attached to it and said, okay, who's probably going to have the toughest time? Target, Nike, Adidas, Disney, and then Bud Light. I think everybody would have picked Bud Light's going to have a tough time,
right?
Just based on their demographic. And on Bill is super smart. I love Bill, and
I love Bill too.
He's all right.
I think there is a lot of people a lot of brands that can benefit from the fallout
Sure.
of Bud
The
Light because
largest,
it's so massive.
Yeah. I think also Bill's point was like in the summertime, especially, is when Corona and Bud Light have overlap, right? Because it's just a refreshing beer to have outside. That's kind of the marketing, right? Find your beach. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm the one who keeps saying this, and I think it can be a little bit of a touchy subject, but I'm watching Yingling because the numbers for Yingling have been ridiculous. And to me, it's pretty hard to argue that they're not seeing a direct, influx of those people who are like America first. I mean, for whatever reason that this is like an America issue.
They're playing it up too on social media.
Oh, are they?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, every post has a big old flag in the back and, we're America's beer. But, it's so hard with Yingling because they opened up those markets in the Midwest. And so,
agreed.
you open up.
Yeah, but those aren't New York. They're like Oklahoma and Missouri. And then you look at the week over week, Harry, the numbers are ridiculous. I mean, they're up like for 30%. Certain brands more. Yeah. But like, I mean, okay, so Yingling Flight was up 48% in volume for the latest week, up from 43.4 prior. I mean, it just keeps accelerating for the light brands. So I'm interested to see if they can keep their supply. I think that's going to be
especially and especially in Missouri, because I've just heard that Missouri AB has the highest share,
right?
And I think Missouri was one of their highest share markets, right? And so the timing was perfect just to open up America's oldest brewery.
Yeah,
couldn't ask for that. But I don't know how I don't know how they're going to keep up with this supply,
Yeah, especially, you got Coors Light on a tear, you got Yingling on a tear, and they still make both at the Fort Worth Brewery, right?
Yeah.
So how does that play out? That'll be interesting.
I know of a person who pledged, against Anheuser-Busch and was drinking Yingling Flight instead of Ultra. And then for Memorial Day, couldn't find any Flight. Mm-hmm. And guess what they bought? Ultra again.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think all it takes is that one time to say, well, couldn't find it. I guess just this once, I'll go back to Ultra. And then just
agree.
Work your way back into where you were.
I think Ultra is going to bounce back. We've started, I mean, it's just a few, but we started polling people about Memorial Day trends, and people are saying Mick Ultra was doing okay. So, but that's just a couple. But anyway, I also want to add, I was like, Oklahoma. I'm not dissing Oklahoma. I'm just saying, like,
I was going to say, they drink a lot of beer in Oklahoma.
No, they do. Well, they do, but like relative to like a Texas, market that's big enough to move the needle that much. Love me some Oklahoma. Love me some Missouri.
Purser was about Kansas. To send you a nasty gram.
Right? No. I mean, there's the rivalry.
And I think overall, the consensus, and I believe is true, is that this has damaged the brand permanently for some people. Mm-hmm. But I think as the months go by, it will slowly dissipate and it'll come back, but it will never be where it was. Mm-hmm. And all it did was accelerate its decline that was already happening. And I think AB's strategy is to ramp up Michelob Ultra to the point where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And which is still a really tall order because Bud Light's still just so big.
Yep.
But if they didn't have Michelob Ultra, they'd be in real trouble. And Busch Light's taking a beating too, they own that segment. Yeah. The sub-premium segment, they just owned it and they just gave it away. Long term, these poor guys in the South. I mean, I know, Jen, you read that some of the responses we got, down 30%. They're going to have to lay people off. And, that one commenter was like, oh, they don't have to sell their second house and their plane. And I was like, no, some of these distributors don't have second houses and planes. Okay. Yeah. They have cousins. Cousins working in the business. So they're all making, they're not rich. They're just trying to keep the head above. And I don't know, man, it's, I feel bad for those guys. And, And like the driver I met this morning, he just seemed exasperated.
When you feel like you have to like carefully approach him and not scare him, that's
yeah,
that's
a beer
that's
truck
terrible.
driver.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, come on.
It's ridiculous because these protesters are hurting people who are exactly like them. What's the freaking point? Like, it's so, it makes me angry.
That ABC News article, I mean, I feel like, and maybe AB is doing this, but I feel like they should have jumped on that narrative early on and say, hey, we have 500 independent small businesses that are employ blue collar people just like everybody, and these are the people that are really getting hurt. The shareholders in Brazil and Leuven are not getting hurt, at least not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the stock's down, a little bit, but it fluctuates within that range all the time. So it's hard to decide. I'm sure some of it is definitely due to their decline. Their big investors have not jumped ship yet. Yeah. The Blackstones of the world, and the State Streets, and the Fidelity, and those big institutional investors, they'll probably be net buyers on this, buy on the dip. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I'm not a financial analyst. I just play one on BeerNet Radio,
on Fox News.
So I'm sorry that I attributed that great article to someone else, Jim.
Oh, that's okay, Harry. It was good. It must not have been Jed.
No, I just assumed because it was regulatory in nature that Bianca wrote it. But I like the way you framed it because it's a dense subject and it's hard to make something like that interesting. But it is very important, I think, and it's gonna this is going to decide how the future of our industry looks and how it plays. And it's probably going to be different than how we operate today, particularly when it comes to trade practices and what constitutes something of value and exclusion and category management. These things that we take for granted may not be legal. And it's because there's nothing in the laws really specifically about category management. It's just that the TTB has interpreted it to mean that it's legal to do certain things. But if it's not a level playing field and controlling the mouse is exclusionary, then we got a problem.
Yeah. So the whole thing is, we covered the comments in the TTB about the updates to trade practice, or even beginning to look at updates to trade practices. The TTB loves to clarify. This is even starting to. And so a coalition of trade organizations, not including the BA, are saying like, hey, we need another 90-day extension period for comments. And the BA is like, no, we don't. We've already had 7 months. And like the little guys need like trade practice updates. And then the other side, which includes like MBWA and Discus and all those, are saying like, well, there's this case that could scale back, agency powers like the TTB. And so some people have said there could be a lawsuit if the TTB does end up what they see as overextending their powers in these updates. So, but the TTB has been very clear about like, hey guys, this whole thing is about like even beginning to look at trade practice updates. They keep saying like, we're just looking at it. We're like, so.
Oh, I'll be long retired by the time they come out with the rulemaking. I'll be in the ground probably.
Oh God,
you and Judge Kaplan will be sharing beers on the beach somewhere.
Oh my God, that would be a great TV show. What's his first name? I forgot. Besides Crazy with a K? Lewis. Harry and Lewis.
Harry and Lewis out on the beach sipping margaritas.
Two grumpy old men, 3. Yeah.
Two grumpy old men, 3. Crazy Kaplan and shit. Never mind. I can't. I'm just coming up with the S word to alliterate with Schumacher, Harry. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And so, Poopy Pants Schumacher.
Poopy Pants. Yeah, I like it. One of the distributors like, I like you, Jim, but Harry's a poo-poo head. I was like, wait, what? A poo-poo head?
I'm right here. I'm CC'd on this email.
All right. Speaking of poo-poo head.
That's a great segue.
Friday news dump.
Yep. Friday news dump. There you go. Perfect, Jordan. Well done.
Friday news dump. Constellation decided it doesn't want to be in the craft business anymore. And it begs the question, should they ever have gotten into it?
And does this signify a new era? Because the week prior, AB had sold AMB back to its founders, which of course it inherited from CBA, but CBA had that brand for a while. So
it sounds to me like they just gave these brands back. I don't know if any money changed hands.
Well, yeah, they're not disclosing that in any of the cases, but yeah, I'm like, what if the founders don't want them back? They're like, no backsies. I want nothing to do with this, right? Terms were not disclosed. Exchange some pinto beans.
Yeah, I don't. Which I think is probably a fair deal, because to the founders, they're getting back maybe not the same volumes and growth rates as when they sold, but they're, I'm sure they enhanced distribution, they enhanced their chain presence, sure. They, got maybe enhanced some of their equipment, maybe, so they're getting back at least it's in better shape if the volumes aren't that great, but the volumes aren't great for anybody. So,
but who even wants to be an operator these days, right? Like they sold for a reason.
Yeah, I know. Well, they got their money and now they get to get the brands back. I think it would be kind of a good deal for those guys.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because they positioned it like the founders approached them about taking the breweries back. Like both of these breweries founders came to them on the same, time frame and said, "Hey, we're looking to get these breweries back." I'm inclined to believe it was more of, "Hey, just whatever's in your pocket right now, just throw it down on the table and we'll sign this and get it done with."
Gum wrappers.
I'm sure if there were any like long-tailed liabilities, lawsuits that were going on, the founders have to take those over too. The brewers just wanted to get rid of, get it off their books, take the write down and move on. And it is interesting though, because I got to give Constellation and AB credit, because if you were an evil corporation, you would just shut them down, because you're creating competitors by, albeit they're tiny competitors, but you are leaving competitors out there. A lot of companies would have just said, you know what, we're just going to shut it down. We're not selling it to anybody. And that would, from a purely business standpoint, that would have been the better move.
Like Molson Coors with St. Archer.
Exactly.
St. Archer just sold the brewery. Yeah.
Just sell it for scrap metal, ship it off to China.
Yeah.
Yep. And get it over with. So kudos if you're listening. You know what? Big corporations do have a heart, after all.
They're doing the most good.
It does. I do wonder if we'll see another sizable craft brand sold. Yeah. I mean, we the biggest one for sure has been still Ballast Point. But Heineken and Lagunitas, that hasn't really, at least in the US, can't speak for it overseas, but that has not materialized.
No.
And they got to be wondering, how can we maybe streamline this a bit or use the capacity for something else? We've talked about this before.
If I were a craft brewer, I'd be brushing up on my Japanese and gift giving customs, and because that's really the only game in town for those guys. I don't see anybody swooping in. There's no value there unless you need a presence in the United States, which the Japanese brewers needed. Yeah. But otherwise, I think we're just going to see deals among them. Hey, we got to cut costs. Let's merge. Let's create platforms. What we've been seeing. I think we'll just be seeing more of that and disclosures.
Yep.
Sadly.
Yeah. I don't know about Lagunitas, because I think Heineken does need the diversification there, and that's still a viable platform, but could go either way, I think. But certainly Anheuser-Busch and Molson Coors, could either sell back or just shut down several of their other craft partners for sure. I won't name names, but I would not be surprised.
When it was $1 billion acquisition, you just know that write-downs are going to be coming. And that's why Constellation got out in front of that with Ballast Point, because they could see that this wasn't really going anywhere and was going to be a drag for a while. But
it's best just to write it down. Seriously, just write it down when times are good. When Modelo's kicking ass and you're the darling of Wall Street, take the loss and then move on. And I mean, $1 billion it still boggles the mind.
It's almost 10 years later.
I know. And the
crazy.
canopy thing also boggles my mind, but we don't want to go there because Bill Newlands and I, we've buried the hatchet. We're good friends now, and I don't need to bring up sore subjects about canopy.
Let's not.
That's not. He sent me a nice bottle of Opus One right when I quit drinking, and I gave it to my son, and he and his girlfriend had a nice dinner.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, where does Harrison live? I swear I saw him walk into Foxtrot on Burn It today, but maybe not.
Well, it is a work day today. I hope he's at the office.
Well, everybody needs coffee and food, Harry.
I think he lives over by where you live.
Then maybe it was him.
Maybe.
This is where all the cool people hang out. So.
Well, I forgot his 30th birthday. It was a week and a half ago.
Harry.
And I remembered it yesterday.
No.
Yeah. Father of the Year. I just texted him. I go, I'm so sorry. He was like, oh, I was wondering. I was like, oh.
He's like, I cut myself for every day you didn't text.
30th birthday too. And
wow.
I'm taking him to Colorado on a fishing trip to make amends.
That's so funny.
Just buying my way out of it.
Yeah. Hey, it's better than Roy Logan. So that's
a pretty low bar, Jen, but thanks.
Well, I just watched the Secession finale, which was
was it good?
It was so sad. That's not a spoiler. I mean, the whole thing is sad. It was sad.
I'm going to start the second season. I haven't watched it, but I heard it's really good.
It's good.
It's phenomenal. The acting is unbelievable, and they're just terrible people.
Yeah.
Awful.
They are terrible people. Yeah, yep.
Anything else that we haven't touched on? I'm trying to think.
Yes, my birthday's Thursday, so I'll take a half day. I will work for half the day, but I have parent-teacher conferences and all kinds of stupid stuff that day. Not stupid, but...
Well, we got you covered on Thursday. Happy barf day. Try not to barf.
On
Jordan,
your barf day.
When I say that we'll cover for you, I mean you'll cover for her.
Jordan's like, I know.
I've been working here long enough, Harry.
Thursday is my birthday too. Whenever it's Jen's birthday, it's my birthday too.
Jordan's like, what the hell? I never take off my birthday.
We don't even know. Jordan doesn't even have a birthday.
Yes, it's in January.
My birthday stopped.
A long time ago.
Yeah. I joined Harry. My birthday's actually in January. I can remember it was in that month sometime.
Yeah.
But I also joined in January.
Yeah.
Right.
And kind of fallen to the wayside.
My birthday is also in January.
I mean, Jordan.
Just falling by the wayside.
I always forget the exact date of Harry's birthday. But I know, so Harry's is like in the beginning and Jordan's is in like middle end.
I don't even know when my birthday is because in order to trick the AIs, I put a different birthday into every form that asks me for my birthday because I don't want them to know my birthday.
To trick the AI.
And so it's either January 6th, 7th, or 8th. I use all three of them so that people can't steal my identity or something. I don't know why I do it, but so I've forgotten which one it is.
I think it's the 6th, right?
That's Ben Franklin's birthday.
Oh.
You're the 7th, right?
Yes. Thank you, Jordan.
Okay. Jordan, you're like the 19th?
You got it.
I did? Yay! Yeah. Cool.
Usually it's when a summit is going on.
Jordan, you know what? Next year, you can take a quarter day off on your birthday.
A quarter day.
All right. I'm going to start thinking about what quarter I want.
No, we decide. It's the last quarter. So
that makes sense.
you won't have to work from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. that day. I'll set up the issue.
That's good. That's good.
We are just so fun today. All right. Well, I have lumber arriving today. I'm building a workbench in my garage here so that I can work on my various projects.
You are building it?
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote plans out on a card. I think I have the right wood. I think I have the right equipment, and I'll let you know how it goes on the next podcast.
Like pictures. A workbench with like power tools, like to build stuff.
Yeah, well,
putting the laptop on top of.
It's kind of for both, but yeah, I need a bench to work on my one wheels, and there's also these girls are moving out as we speak, and I need to do some repairs. And I'm tired of workmen talking down to me like I'm an idiot. I had somebody fix the hot tub yesterday. This hot tub, it's too full. It has too many chemicals, and you can't have the water. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm just going to do it myself. I'm not an idiot. There's YouTube videos. I have the tools.
YouTube.
Hey,
I
Harry,
can
when
learn.
you're done, I have a video of how to build a backyard roller coaster. Why don't you come on over here and do that for me?
I have the tools.
I have to do it.
I don't know if you've seen my Amazon emails coming in, but I bought a
No.
power saw. I bought drills. I went with all Milwaukee.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
only reason is because Miller used to be based in Milwaukee, and I like the town.
There you
So
go.
I kind of pick my power tool brands like women pick horses on a horse race. I like the name.
It is a cool logo. Kind of has
Yeah.
like the lightning bolt font.
Yeah, they're red. They look tough. So I'm gonna embarrass myself, but I also bought a toolbox and it's a Milwaukee. I went outside and grabbed a handful of dirt, and I came in and rubbed it on all my power tools in my toolbox so that they didn't look so brand new.
That is hilarious. That's amazing.
Yeah, because then I didn't want people coming in and saying, "Oh, he just bought all these tools. He's he's cosplaying." He's just playing like he's just pretending like he's Bob the Builder. He doesn't really know how to use these tools. So I had to rub a little dirt on them. I do the same thing with new boots. You can't just come in looking like a noob.
I go around looking for manure to step in.
Yeah.
Man,
Harry, you
no.
need to record yourself making these repairs because, they might be funny or they might also be useful for insurance purposes.
What makes you think I'm not?
You're right. I don't know why I even mentioned it.
I will send you the time lapse of me building a table that I'll send you after this.
How
Nice.
to with Harry. Yeah, I like
How
that.
to? Yeah. Everything's janky, by the way. Nothing is like measured perfectly, or that's for idiots. That takes too long. Measure twice and cut once. Don't even measure at all. Cut twice is what I do.
Yeah.
And you just get it together, and if it doesn't fall down, success. So
Nobody's talking down to Harry anymore.
no, I'm done with it. I'm done. I have to endure it one more time because I'm sure the guy that's delivering the lumber is going to make some snide remark like, "Oh, you just want me to throw it in the yard? Your grass is going to get killed." I'm like, I don't care about my grass. I don't care about the same things you care about. So just do it and quit talking down to me.
But then he'll see the dirt on your tools and he'll be like, whoa,
Whoa.
I didn't realize.
Exactly, Jen. Exactly. Rubbed a little WD-40 on my leather gloves so they didn't look fresh and creamy right out of the box.
You should probably put some war paint right here, Harry, just in case.
I'm on it. All right, kids.
All right.
Well done. Another great Wednesday warehouse. And all right, well, we'll shout at you later. And don't forget, got a promo coming out tomorrow for the Distributor Productivity Summit.
Yes.
Online webinar is going to be fantastic. We have great speakers lined up, and we're going to start selling tickets. Get this bull. We're going to get this bull running through the China shop. Start
Sounds
breaking
good.
things.
Be there.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.